Welcome to another episode of the Snap Fantasy Football Podcast, your weekly dose of news and advice that comes to your pocket every single Saturday. Holding it down, here we got Mac, Mark, Scott, and Landon. Enjoy today's show.
What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Snap Fantasy Football Podcast. Today we are talking about J-Jets, the number 22 overall selection in the 2020 draft, to the Minnesota Vikings. Shout out to Mackenzie, who could not be here for this episode, but I know you wanted him to be a Green Bay Packer, but he is not. He is a Viking. He is heading to the Twin Cities, and he is going to absolutely tear it up. We're going to break down his fantasy value today, but from a personal standpoint, let me say there could not have been a better hand-picked replacement for the Stefon Diggs, who hilariously was traded for the pick that got us this elite talent. Now, if we look at his most recent college season, we're talking about 111 receptions, 1,540 yards, and 18 touchdowns. You know what you call that? You call that Madden on rookie mode. So if you want to replace one of the most elite downfield threats in Stefon Diggs, you do it with J-Jets. He is a Viking, and he is going to be our clear-cut WR1 when he supersedes Thielen, but he gets a full season, maybe two, to learn from Thielen opposite, and I just am so psyched about the landing spot, and if you can't tell, I am very high on him, especially in Dynasty drafts. Boys, what do we think?
Wow, Scotty, it's hard to follow that little monologue up, but I'll do my best. Jefferson was one of my favorite rookie wide receivers that I projected to go late in the draft. I was hoping for the Vikings, and I'm thrilled as a Vikings fan, i.e. my Stefon Diggs jersey in the back here, that this happened. But Jefferson is primarily a slot receiver. He was on the most prolific offense in college football. That's kind of why he put up those crazy numbers. So let's not expect that kind of output. But he's a special talent. But as a fun fact, he wasn't always that special talent. He ran a pretty slow 40 in high school. Out of high school, he was rated as like the 2000th best player coming out of high school. And actually, the number one was Donovan Peoples-Jones. Maybe you don't even know that name. Maybe you do. But you definitely know Justin Jefferson because you're watching this video. So how the tables have turned, how he's gotten fast. He ran a super fast 40 at the combine, 4.43. He's a really good player in traffic. But he mostly saw single coverage because he was on such a good offense. They played spread offense. One of the best wide receivers in college was opposite him, Jamar Chase. So he never saw that elite cornerback coverage. So it should be interesting. I'm comparing him to a Tyler Boyd. I'm excited for him. I really am. I think he could do a lot of good things. One thing I like most about him is that he got those 111 receptions, one of the most in college football, so he can see that volume. He can really get that volume. My only question is, Kirk Cousins doesn't throw the football that much, so that might be a little bit tough. Marky, what are your thoughts here, pal?
Lando, as a Vikings fan, I'm surprised that you even leaned towards that argument, but that's exactly the one that I want to start off with. It's that this Vikings team has got a run-first mentality, and they do have superb running backs to flaunt that. They've got Dalvin Cook, and they've got Madison, who both of which can alternate, and they can each get 20 carries a game and do that week to week. And you've seen how they just pound defenses that way. But I don't know if I can trust Kirk Cousins to provide what Joe Burrow was able to provide for Jefferson at LSU last year. I mean, I'll give Jefferson this. He looks good in the purple, gold, and white, so he is going to make a very easy transition into the look here. But is he Stefon Diggs? Frankly, I don't think so. I think he's going to have to work a lot harder, and I think it's going to take time. Kirk Cousins is a quarterback who is not super aggressive. And while he does throw the money ball, he definitely doesn't have, I don't think he has the stones to throw the type of throws that Joe Burrow was giving him. So before I go too far down this rabbit hole and saying he's not going to be what everyone touts him to be, all I'm saying is that his numbers in the last year at college are something that you can't replicate. He was obviously a tremendous talent, but one thing that Pro Football Focus said about him is that he didn't see all that much press coverage last year, and that he was frequently knocked out of his route by any sort of contact. So maybe that's just kind of a lack of strength thing, and a certain amount of conditioning will get him up to that bigger, more powerful stature. But some early comparisons here are kind of pointing him to like a maybe Calvin Ridley or Will Fuller, both of whom have been more than serviceable wide receiver twos. And I love that because Justin Jefferson has shown that he is gritty. He is a very complete player. In fact, I would say the most complete wide receiver in this draft. And obviously his numbers showed for it. So I don't want to be too skeptical because this is a boost for them. Does it make them a better team than when they had Stefon Diggs on the field? That only time will tell. But fantasy-wise, I think he is definitely going to earn a flex position for you this year. I'm thinking he puts up somewhere around the 75 reception mark. I'm thinking maybe 700 yards, and we'll just say 7 TDs. Make them all sevens for you.
Well, first of all, I have to jump in saying that Kirk Cousins can't provide what Burrows could, I think is a little bit horse before the cart. Kirk Cousins is a highly skilled quarterback, and Burrows still has to actually prove that he can do anything at the NFL level. I feel great about Kirk Cousins throwing to J-Jets. And let's remember that even with the limited amount of passing that the Vikings did last season, they still were able to hook up Stefon Diggs with 1130 yards and 6 touchdowns. And that was on 63 receptions for a ridiculous average that there is no way J-Jets replicates. But I'd say the opportunity for almost immediate payoff is there. My Dynasty chops are just salivating at the idea of grabbing Jets. I admit in redrafts there might be a bit of a learning curve. It is a power run first offense as long as Dalvin Cook does sign his deal, which we still have to make sure that that extension actually comes through because there is a potential holdout that may start looming with the Vikings. But overall, I think that you could not ask for a better landing spot. He's the clear-cut number 2 wide receiver in really a 2 wide receiver set with Sharp and a few other pieces around. So I do think that, you have to understand there will be learning curves. He did not face that much press coverage and a lot of single coverage in that Madden style season. But overall, he is an elite talent. I think in a dynasty league, you got to try to get this guy because great landing spot, great talent. By season 2, I feel will bring amazing results.
Scott,
Landon, as the other resident Viking fan, do you think I'm a little too high?
Hang on. I don't know if Justin Jefferson gets just handed that wide receiver 2 position right away. BC Johnson worked with that offense for the entire year last year. He's still on that team. Zimmer I don't think he's a guy who pulls triggers like that so easily. I think he will pencil Jefferson in for a slot role, but he's not going to be on the field immediately, Scotty. I think they're going to be running BC Johnson at the wide receiver 2 to start the season.
You might have a good point, Scotty or Mark, and Irv Smith Jr. is a junior or senior, either way. Irv Smith is a guy that I've always liked, and I think he could be a reception threat going forward. He's still a young, athletic tight end. It's going to be hard. I would need to see Kirk Cousins have that boost in pass attempts this next season to even have a chance. There is like a 41% share, a reception share gap gone out of this team with Stefon Diggs out of here. Now, Thielen, we really hope he's healthy. As Vikings fans, we hope he's healthy. We hope he's the number 1 wide receiver. I was just in a dynasty league, and Justin Jefferson went way before Adam Thielen, which I think is a little crazy because you still want to win now.
Disrespectful.
It's disrespectful to Adam Thielen and what he is as a wide receiver. But I don't know. I'm leaning back and forth on whether I think Justin Jefferson can produce this offseason. I think he might be one of the most overdrafted wide receivers in this class.
Well, there will always be risk associated with drafting a rookie wide receiver in a power run first offense. But when we're talking about J-Jets, I just think it's worth the investment. And let's be real. You said that Kirk Cousins might not provide what the man slinging the rock for the Bungles will provide. I just don't agree with that. Kirk Cousins is a fine quarterback, and I really think at least by year 2, J-Jets is going to be a premier wide receiver in this league. All right, guys, if you're still with us, make sure to like and subscribe. Hit the bell to make sure that you're notified of our weekly content. We're hitting you with 3 videos a week, and we're looking forward to putting out videos for all the top rookies in this 2020 draft. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at snap_fantasy, and we will see you in the next video. See you then.